Denton Davidson here for Gold Derby with Marlon Wayans, who plays Ted White in the film Respect, opposite Jennifer Hudson in the Aretha Franklin biopic. Marlon, you're known for your comedy. Your whole family is like comedy royalty at this point in Hollywood. But you've also taken dramatic roles like this one, and of course, one of my favorite movies, Requiem for a Dream. What draws you away from comedy to play some of these darker, more dramatic characters?
Just love of the art. I went to performing arts high school, and we didn't study comedy. I just so happened to be funny. We studied the dramatic arts, every day for 4 years straight. It was like I don't know, it's just like very intense. But I grew up in a family full of comedians. I actually didn't start stand-up comedy until I was like 38 years old. Then I actually started doing stand-up. And so for me, it's just being able to, if I know how to do something, why not showcase that? And especially when you find great roles with great directors and, working with great casts, you just want to go toe to toe and see how great you can be and learn. You learn why working with Forrest, you learn so much working with Jennifer, working with Liesl Tommy, working with Sophia Coppola, the Coen brothers. I've been so blessed, and also to be groomed by my brother Keenan and Damon, and work with Sean, and so I love drama and comedy kind of equally, and I'm also in my comedies. I'm starting to really pay more attention to the drama of the comedy. Which is good because I didn't focus on that before. I just focused on the funny. And it wasn't until I started doing dramatic work again, I was like, oh, wait, I got to do this in my comedies. And, I'm filming a comedy right now, Boo. And it's a really grounded performance with pieces of crazy. And it's enjoyable to do.
Can you be pigeonholed sometimes as an actor when you're seen as the funny man? Can it be, difficult to sometimes get those roles?
Absolutely. But at the same time, it's like, look, if you want it, you go meet and you ever sit down with the person, or you go in the audition and you show them what you could do. I've never been that guy. You know what I mean? I've never been the guy that gets the dramatic offers and the comedic offers. I've always been the guy that writes and produces and, puts together, creates his own work. And every now and then a great role will come up. I go, oh, that'd be great. I would love to showcase my talents in that. But in the meantime, I live on a stage. I stay writing. And it's been a great journey because to do this for 30 years and still be kind of undiscovered, right, in so many ways, I'm blessed. I never had my moment. And when it comes, it's going to be awesome. But I'm glad I never had that moment, because I've been able to have many moments. I've been able to do this for 30 years. And I look at my IMDb sometimes and I'm like, fuck, I did all that?
And we're all familiar with Aretha Franklin, of course, but I don't think everyone knew necessarily about her roots and her upbringing, which is what this film really focuses on. We also didn't know a lot about her first husband, Ted White. So what familiarity did you have with this story, and then what made you so passionate about wanting to be a part of it?
Well, I grew up in a house with 6 women, 6 strong Black women, 5 sisters and a mom. And if you don't think I heard Aretha Franklin song every day somehow, some way, you must be crazy. Like my mom, I think she learned how to spell respect listening to that song. She would word it out and everything. You RESPCT me. And say that to my dad and say that to us and my sisters. They had the Sparkle soundtrack, and they're giving them something he can feel. And they'd be by the radio doing this, and my mother would hear them, and they'd be like 15 years old. My mom would be like, "What can you feel? What did he give you that you can feel?" And then my sister showed up pregnant at 16, and she was like, "Oh, yes, she did." Kind of, he did give her something she could do. But so I know nothing about Ted White. Not much was written about him. There's only maybe a minute of him speaking in the interviews. It's not Aretha where you have books on her and 24 Grammys and all the history. Ted he was just like a moment in her life. We didn't talk about it much. So, what's kind of cool because I got a chance to really create a character from the ground up,
Yeah.
and give him some real flesh and not doing an impression, but to really do an exploration of that kind of abusive human.
And I spoke to Jennifer Hudson last week, and you might be flattered to learn that she told me you're probably her favorite co-star she's ever had.
She lying. She said it was Jamie Foxx. I seen her on Ellen. She lying. She said it was Jamie Foxx, and it hurt my feelings. Nah, it's okay.
What was it like working with Jennifer and being part of telling her story with Jennifer?
Jennifer's just so sweet, so super talented. And her work, when you're that good, it never felt like she was working. It was just like something she did. And she would come in and she would play these numbers on the piano and sing everything live, take after take after take, never get hoarse, never get her voice go out. It's just a bull. And I know she worked after we worked, and I know she worked months before leading up to it, but it never looked like work. And I just found that to be so amazing that you could put that much practice, not just in the effort of when it's time to do the movie, but her lifetime prepared her for this role. So that she can just easily and it was hard singing Aretha Franklin, and to sing Aretha Franklin and bring Jennifer Hudson to it, like it was like going to church or a great Broadway musical every day. And I'm just so proud of her as a co-star and as a friend. And I think she's a beautiful child.
And you also get to have some fun scenes with Forrest Whitaker, who plays Aretha's father, C.L. Franklin. And Ted and C.L. did not get along. There was sort of this power struggle between them for Aretha's attention and control of her career. What was it like just working with Forrest Whitaker, who's, such a fantastic seasoned actor?
I learned so much, man. I mean, he's a pro. He does the work. This is what you learn about everybody who's really good. They just do the work. You look at Forrest's script and had all these tabs in it from working with his coaches. And I was like, I looked at my script and I was like, I need some of those tabs. I ain't got no tabs in mine. I gotta step my game up. And just the fact that he goes and he knows the intention and he's not afraid to do something different. He knows his intention and he knows how to move you with his lines and his words and what he's trying to get out of you. And what I loved about our scenes is our intentions and obstacles always clashed, right? They were always like, his was to scare me, and mine would be to not back down. And so you see the tension in the scene between him and I. And, I love working with him because afterward, he would say to me, beautiful work. And that felt so good when, somebody that you respect like that can tell you, because he's watching you. He's your mirror, right? So you can't see yourself, but he's absorbing you. And when he goes, beautiful work, that means that I moved him the same way he moved me. And, that's great compliment.
And Ted was an abusive person. He was physically and emotionally abusive to Aretha, and he's sort of this swindler who, wanted things done his way. But he's also someone that Aretha fell in love with at some point in her life. So what do you tap into as an actor to relate to someone like this before you go into shooting a scene?
As much as he abused her and mentally and physically, emotionally, I think, and I always look for the good in all the bad characters.
Yeah.
There has to be some humanity. For somebody to be that damaged, how damaged were they? That they damaged people like that. And so you have to dig and create from there. His treatment of her was because of insecurity that led him and drove him to do the things he did, because his intention was he wanted to be the knight in shining armor. He wanted to be the guy that he saw something in Aretha, something special and he wanted to take her from her father and make her the biggest star in the world. And that's what he wanted to do. But then the reality of that was too much for him to handle. And that's when he went back to, the abuse, because he was losing control. The scared little boy turned into the monster. And I just think I was trying to give him some texture and some layers, because it's so easy to just play bad. It's easy to play evil. It's easy to play mean. But it's hard to love a bad guy and for you to feel somewhat sorry for him as much as you're mad at him. I had women walk up to me and hit me. I'm mad at you, Mom. I was like, what did I do? Cuz you made me love you, then hate you, and then I felt bad for you. And I was like, good. And I did my job.
And Aretha also was a little competitive with her sisters. They were all good singers, and if they had it their way, they would all have been as famous as Aretha was. And Ted also didn't really particularly love living in her shadow all that much either. I was wondering how much you can sort of relate to that coming from a family with so many stars in it, and how competitive did things get in your household when you were growing up?
I mean, I could relate to it, but because I come from, a whole clan of comedians. For a
Yeah.
long time, I was so intimidated to do stand-up because my brothers did stand-up for years, right? And when you do stand-up, you pull from your life. And so I had 5 people doing stand-up before me, and I'm like, well, they told all the stories. But then I started realizing that I have my own story and my own point of view about my experience. And so our competition is never with each other. The only way we compete is we're doing scenes together and we're trying to one-up each other because we want the scene to be great. But there's no real competition. Our hearts don't work that way. Never have. My brother taught us play nice together. My mom and dad taught us play nice together. So we didn't have that type of competition. We had a lot of support for each other.
And your parents weren't showbiz people. So where did this passion for comedy and film and television, where did your family get that from?
My dad is silly, and he annoyed the hell out of my mom. And she was really funny when she was mad. So I think they'd had makeup sex and they made us. And that's but honestly, my mother performed at the Apollo with her and her sisters, the Green Sisters, when they was like 5 and 6 years old or something like that. And she put her career aside and, her dreams aside to be a mom and have children. And my mother always taught us to be dreamers. She always taught us to follow our passions. And my dad taught us to be hard workers. And I guess that was the formula.
And I have to ask, I know you're a very busy man, but did you have time to watch Damon on live in front of a studio audience playing Willis on Different Strokes? Have you been able to see it yet?
I haven't. Where can I find it? Because I was busy. I was filming.
Oh no, I think it's on Hulu, maybe.
All right, I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Okay, because then my follow-up question was, these live performances are getting very popular. If you were to choose one classic TV show to reenact for one night, what would it be, and which character would you choose?
I'd choose Wayans Brothers, and I play me.
Well, I hope that happens. And then just as a final question, just to bring it back to respect, when you look back at the whole filming process, what did you love most about just the whole experience and bringing this American legend to the big screen?
I love the fact that the movie was written by a Black woman, directed by a Black woman, starred a Black woman, about a Black woman, and 4 queens brought a queen to life. And I'm just so proud to be a part of that vision and part of the world that Liesl Tommy created. She's a brilliant woman, director, visionary, and how she made all the departments work together with that much passion to give the actors our space to feel that we had to trust with her. The team she put around us, from the motion, the movement coaches to the acting coaches to the choreographer, to like everybody showed up, and we all showed up for the queen, and we showed up for Liesl, and we showed up for Jennifer, who worked her behind off. And I'm just so proud to be a part of that.
Well, it was great work. Congratulations. I'm going to tell our viewers watching this interview, head over to goldderby.com, make your awards predictions, and check out more interviews with top contenders. And Marlon, thank you so much for speaking with me today about your work on Respect.
Thank you, Denton. Appreciate you.